guys? We've got another awesome episode of Road Dogging. I'm obviously your host, Jordan Marshall, the Road Dog. Just did some road dogging myself back from Pennsylvania. We're going to talk a little bit about that event this weekend up at the Susquehanna River. My guest this week is a third place podium finisher for the last Bassmaster of the year, Mr. Jordan Welliver. What is up?
What's up, man?
I appreciate you coming on here in a pinch. We had to do some mixing it up this evening, and glad I could get you on here to talk a little bit about this past weekend. And wanted to get you on here anyway. You're one of my friends from faraway places that we like to hang out when we get out of town. So if you want to just introduce yourself to everybody about a little bit where you're from and all that.
Um, I live right on the Susquehanna River. I get to fish it pretty much whenever I want, whenever it's not um, off limits, and it's a blast. I love traveling, but I can't wait for the next tournament on our river because it shows out almost every single time. Gives opportunities. It might not show out. Definitely some rough times this year there. And this was the first tournament that I almost put everything together, but still just did not fish clean.
Yeah, that's one of those places that is incredibly tough to fish clean. I know I made a Facebook post talking about how rough of a day it was to land fish. I just for whatever reason could not make that happen. You obviously put it together a little bit more than I did, but I think I lost like 16 of my first 19 fish that I had hooked up. I was right around them. Um, I think I was within talking distance of quite a few guys that did really well. Ike and Ellie, I saw him and put in with Nick Dyer and some other guys that caught him. It was those fish were there. It's just Susquehanna. No matter what time of year it is, those fish just fight something serious. They're a mean, aggressive breed of smallmouth up there, and they kicked my butt the first couple hours of Sundays. Day two moving day. I fumbled the bag for about 2 hours and eventually kind of got something squared away. But um, tell everybody kind of how you got into kayak fishing. Is it something that you just did because you were on the Susky and it just kind of that's the easiest way to fish that place, or how'd you get into kayak fishing?
I started in boats actually. Whoa, I was in high school fishing out of a prop boat, no trolling motor, just spinning in circles going down the river. And I got into that. My dad seen that I was really enjoying that. So when I was a senior in high school, he bought a good boat, like a good boat for our river, I should say. And I just started fishing that and started fishing tournaments. And one day I was on Facebook or something, and I seen something about the Hobie coming to the Susquehanna, and I'm like, whoa! I was like, those payouts look way like a lot more money than anything you can fish for on this river in a boat. Like you're lucky to get a $2,000 payday out of a boat, and I'm like, I'm oh, these people are in kayaks. I'm a boat fisherman. I'm gonna go out and slap them around. Like this is gonna be like the easiest thing ever. It's on my home water. Like nobody's gonna know this more than me. And so I signed up, got in, and get to the check-in, and it was the COVID year where we were at City Island. Like
Was that the year that the water was down? The very first year that we went up there?
no, it wasn't the first year that you guys
It
came
was
because
the
I've seen the
second year when
results
the
from the
water was
year
up.
before. it was the first high number year, like big bags. It was the year Lambert caught the big bass. That's when it was.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm following. Yeah, yeah. That was the year that everybody caught him on a bladed jig.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you finish in that event?
Uh, Great. I caught a 19 and a quarter right off the bat. Second cast of the day. Go take picture. Rip my tether off my phone, or rip my tether off my life vest. Drop everything in the water in like 12 feet of water. That was a good 6 hours of my day one. I live local enough that I got my mom's phone and finished out the day and like caught like 85 inches or something like that. And then the next day I went and absolutely crushed them and didn't have my identifier in. And because I had my mom's phone, I didn't have my email, so I wasn't getting the deny notifications. So I
Oh my
submitted these pictures
gosh.
all day. It was like 96 inches or something crazy. Like for back then, now that's more common. Like I
Yeah.
think 93 won that year, or 92, somewhere around there. Like it's
Oh.
this place isn't even. That's why I said I was talking with somebody last night at dinner. I actually, it might have been Josh, and I said to him, I'm like, this place is not even to its peak yet. Like
So
it's still
supposedly it's kind of getting close back now to peaking, right? It's getting
two
to
or
that
three.
point
I'm
again.
saying 2 or 3 years to make it like when I was in high school fishing, and like the pictures of the fish I have, like just going and catching them, throwing. And right when the Ned rig came out, man, oh, you wanted to go catch 50 fish, and they were all good fish. Like now, like you're not up there's a lot tougher now too, where I fish.
So you think two more? It's got 2 more years of getting better, but
Yes.
before. Oh my gosh.
So yesterday, want to shout out Steve McConnell. He brought in like, I don't know the exact number, but it was like 25 and a half pounds in a bass boat tournament. Like
Oh my gosh.
that's like 105 inches. Like that's huge. 100
Yeah,
and
that is nuts.
103 at least. And yeah, they're all massive. His kicker was 574. Yeah,
Five
five
seven
seven
four.
four. Yeah, absolute absolute freak.
That I was trying to find the
He's
results
catching the
of that
same
event we
exact
were
way
talking
I
about.
was this weekend too.
Really?
Yep.
Is that something you want to share while you're on here, or is that top secret in
Yeah,
case
no,
we go
I'm
back in the
I'm
fall?
100%. I haven't made a post yet. It's a long story behind that, but you'll understand when you see it.
We getting some juice dropped on road dogging?
I mean, it's nothing crazy, man. It's this. I You knew what I was throwing before it too. Like it's just a Clash 165, but this guy that lives on the river paints them, and he knows what he's doing. Uh, and it's not like it's more expensive bait than I like to throw around muskie, but it's, I mean, $50 or 120 or 130 for some of the other ones. Like I don't mind the 50 when when it produces what it does.
Yeah, I completely thought you were kidding me because I've got I'm a swim bait guy within reason. I'm not a hardcore swim bait only guy, but I've got clashes. I've got 2 clashes, I think. One of them's still in the box that rides around in my deck system, in my truck, and I don't even think I've casted it. I just not a big Clash fan, and you told me, I need to throw it if I had one, and I was like, "Man, this guy's out of his mind." I thought you were giving me a run, just screwing with me.
Not, I mean, I so the first day I took Saturday was the first day I ever fished with it. I got the baits from him at a boat tournament above the boundary on the West Branch. There's above the dam. There's a pool up there that takes like 12, 13 pounds to win. It sucks, but
Yeah.
it wasn't. I could fish there during the off limits period, and there was boat tournaments that lined up perfect when I had nothing going on. So we went up there. But he gave them to me, and I never threw them. I regret because it was perfect conditions. Like I found it when they're eating, when all fish are eating, those swim baits, I just don't get the 16s and 17s. Like the amount of 18s I caught on Sunday was absolutely wild. I have no idea how I could not find how I went from 21 and a half to 18 and three quarter or whatever that one fish was. I don't get how I could not find a 19. I caught 40 fish that were 18 inches. Like I'm not even
Oh my
being
gosh.
sarcastic. And I did that in an hour on a jerk bait in the middle of the river.
So, we've heard stories, I've heard stories anyway, of, Susquehanna being one of those places where if you get on the right flat, there could literally be 1,000 smallmouth on one football field that are just eating. And is that what you essentially found? Because I heard another guy had found one Sunday as well, and he caught them really good too.
Yeah, I was sharing water with some people that caught decent fish and some people that weren't catching them, and it was just, I mean, beating the banks, it wasn't it. And then, well, Saturday, so I launched in the morning at a different launch that where I caught my fish. I went there on Sunday and I broke 100 on Sunday. Just random fishing with that swim bait, like going this island and then driving across the river and hitting this island and like just spot checking stuff.
Yeah,
And everything I casted at, like I was catching giants. So I just ran like a hour and 45-minute loop in the morning. I
yeah.
snapped off every single fish that bit in the morning. I had 98 to 95 inches hooked in the morning and snapped every single one of them off. Just
Oh my, like
boom, boom,
broke them
boom.
off,
Three off one point of an island, back to back to back.
broke them off.
Every single one. But I was finesse fishing. I wasn't throwing that glide because I didn't trust that glide with, if two of them tried eating it, I didn't want
Yeah,
that situation to happen with two giants. Like I wanted an opportunity at each one.
yeah.
And
That's
it was
that's a
pretty
good problem to
easy.
have. I wanna throw a finesse bait so I don't hook 2 giants at the same time.
Yeah. Well, it was crazy how they were set up. Like, and it was only certain islands. But when I hit that first one, I'm like, I know this island, this island, I'll have this same exact thing going on. Let me go check them all. And then I drove Friday. I went all the way down. I fished Wednesday night and a couple of the other nights, and I crushed. Well, I crushed muskie Wednesday night. Caught two muskie back to back casts. That'll never happen again.
So, here's a question for you is, not to get overly technical, but I had a guy explain to me on Sunday every island that he found that had a certain facing bank had fish on it, like west bank, east bank, south bank. Every time the bend in the river, all the islands on one side of it had fish. Is that like something that you were kind of targeting, where, or is that just kind of overly technical? Because this dude
Dude.
straight up told me, he said, "Man," he said, "every island I went to that had the long side of the island was facing this direction, I caught a fish off every one of those islands." And I was sitting there thinking kinda what I did. I found some grass islands on day 2. Every single time I got to a grass island, towards the end of the day, they were on the fish were always on the same side of the island. I would get a bite on, like, the same side, and I was like, and I just kinda thought it was like that was just where the deeper side of the little grass islands were, but it seems
Huh.
like, that was actually a pattern. Have you ever noticed anything like that
Which
on the
side?
Susky?
Okay, so going down river, which side was it?
Um It was basically like as I went down the river, the fish were river left as I was going down the river.
I could. That was the plague for me.
What'd you say?
That was the plague for me. Except for the striper, man. I definitely gave them a run for their money this weekend.
The striper.
Yeah,
I didn't even know there was striper in the Susky. I've never caught a striper in the Susky.
you and me both, man. Caught my first one Saturday and my second one Sunday. Both of them on a glide bait. Crazy experience wade fishing you ever wanted in your life. Except for I got to the point where the fish was like 60 yards downstream and it was in 4 inches of water. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm about to do right now.
Are we talking like striper?
Yeah, one striper and one hybrid. Probably the one was 20 some pound. The other one was probably like 13 to 15.
Wow, I had no idea that they were in
I'll
there.
send you after this. I'll send you pictures of them. They're. I mean, I was mind blown. The one I caught at the new though, that was a big one.
I feel like I'd heard you caught one at the new, but I don't know if I've seen that picture either. I had
Caught that one on a whopper plopper.
oh my gosh. I literally you hear stories about the Susky having, pretty good sized catfish in it and or just a bunch of catfish and I was fishing behind, some heavy current behind some boulders just kind of fan casting around and got a catfish on a thunder cricket, and I thought I had a giant smallmouth because I'd already had 90 inches in this area, pretty early, and I was like, "Oh, this is a perfect rot. This fish should be
Yeah.
behind in this heavy current." And I kind of popped it a couple times, and it just stopped. And man, it was rolling on the surface, but it didn't like jump, and it kind of had like a brown tinge to it. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's got to be like a 24. That's the biggest smallmouth I've ever seen." And it was just peel and drag. It got in the current, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is a smallmouth that's in the current. It's not jumping because it's in the current." And I got it up there and was like, "Dude, you have got to be kidding me!" I just caught like, I mean, the catfish was probably 30 inches long. It was longer than my board. I was like, heartbreaker. I got it in the net, slime everywhere, of course, and cut my line, retie, get all the slime all in the net, slimes in the boat.
Oh, I love it. Like a good foot up your line, you just got nice little chunks of good stuff on it. So last year in Hobie, I saw a guy throwing a spinnerbait and he was pounding them. I'm like, oh, this is easier than the way I'm catching them. Tie on a spinnerbait, first cast, like two cranks, and it just dead stop and starts running. I'm like, okay, this is awesome. And then the same situation. I I was heartbroken because I needed one good fish, and nope, it was a catfish.
The you ever feel like it, I don't know exactly what your obviously you had a good event this time. Um how do you feel like do you like staying at home, sleeping in your own bed, fishing events on the Susky compared to traveling? Do you feel like there's any extra pressure fishing the Susky and kind of tell everybody kind of what your record is because I know you said that first year you had some technical difficulties fishing in a kayak event. How have you done since then?
Uh, this is by far it's my best finish in a national event, and my biggest bag I've ever caught in a tournament on in a kayak. Um, this year especially, my track record's been absolutely horrendous. Um, well, the tour when you and Ewing came up and fished that tournament,
Yeah.
I blew every situation in the morning. Like I was done at 9 o'clock. Like I've never covered as much water as I did, and I was just done. I snapped I snapped a giant off with a buzz bait in its mouth in my pedal drive, and almost had my pedal drive out and pulled up, and nope, came off. And then it just sat out in the middle and jumped for 45 minutes. But I just, I hate the pressure. I'd much rather be on the road. Honestly, I have way less.
Really?
I have way less pressure. I don't have people messaging me, "Hey, are you fishing that kayak tournament?" Like, yes, I am. But like, I don't need 20 people calling me. I've see this tournament. Steve and everybody did such an excellent job with the putting it out for everybody to see. Like, it was in the newspaper. I was seeing it on Facebook. I was seeing people share it that I know have absolutely no idea what they were even sharing, other than
Something local's going
Mike
on. Yeah.
Iaconelli was fishing in a tournament on our river. Like, that's the only thing they knew out of the whole situation. But I think it's awesome because it sheds more light on it, and like having people like at the boat ramp say you guys all in that big kayak tournament. Like, that's awesome. Like, that people actually know. And hopefully the leisure fishermen out there might have, hopefully, well, they'd probably seen it too. Hopefully they give you the respect and maybe try not to burn you. I didn't have that situation in my favor, but I definitely I loved everywhere we were with traveling this year, though. Like, everywhere I've went to, other than Santee left a bad taste in my mouth.
So that's the question I always ask everybody. We're gonna slide into back into the questionnaire. Where all have you been this year? Kind of what's your favorite place that you've been, and tell everybody what kind of trails you followed around this year. And
I only did I only did the I only traveled for Hobie and MAKBF. I'm leading AOI currently in that, beating Jake
is that what you
Hartman.
would call your home club, MAKBF?
I no, I wouldn't say it's no, definitely not home, because it's like mini road dogging for MAKBF, and nothing. We had one event close. We had another event at like 2.5 hours away, but I think this week I'm going 4 or 5 hours.
I got you.
So
Is MAKBF the one that I come up and fish in July?
no, that was kayak anglers. MAKBF, you can use a motor.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Hobie's the only trail that I do that you can't use the motor. And then,
MAKBF is mid Atlantic kayak bass fishing.
yes,
Got you.
I went to Santee. Well, I started at Harris Chain and then went to Santee and crushed giants in practice. Seen you, had a terrible time, but I crushed giants, but I didn't catch many fish. Like, when I caught fish, they were all big,
Yeah.
and I zeroed. I lost every fish. It was my start of my Saturday and my Sunday, but it never stopped. It was just, and it was one day, and I zeroed.
Yeah,
And then,
that was a tough event. It was all or nothing. For those that don't know, day one got canceled for high winds. They had a small craft advisory, and they canceled day one.
um,
But what's like your favorite place you've been to? Period. It doesn't even have to be this year. What's your favorite place you've ever been?
I I would have to say probably Harris Chain, maybe. I don't know. I didn't figure him out till in the tournament, so I want to go back, and whatever trail is there this year, I'm going, because I need to go back and go see how big those fish were that I was pulling off on crankbaits.
Is that you're going there regardless time of year? If somebody goes to Harris Chain, you're going?
Yeah. Yep.
If Harris Chain goes back the same time of year, I'll go. I'm not sure I'd go back. I'm not a big super fan of Florida. Not that I wouldn't go. If I got an open weekend, I'd probably go. Let's be honest. You know, you don't
I
you
was
don't
gonna
get the
say.
road dog nickname by staying at home. But I would really like another chance in a event in February in Florida when we went down there. I would like another run at that because I spent basically a week down there and found the winning spot and the guy that finished second. That was my backup spot, and I felt like I found all the right places and just didn't execute properly. So I'm not sure I'd spend a whole nother week down there, but if we have another February event, I would be going into it optimistically versus, if we had a random event for some random time of year down there, I would probably go, but it wouldn't be with excitement, if that makes sense.
But no, I guess you're right too, because I want to go back and experience that same, like, I want to be in the same stages of where those fish were. I want to go back and not go fish one day at every lake,
Yeah.
go to one lake and never leave that lake, because what I figured out 45 minutes before day two ended, if I knew that Saturday morning and was smart enough to buy more than one crankbait when I went to whatever tackle shop I went to, I would have been in great shape. On my second 8 pounder or so that I lost, like, they were both like absolute giants. I
Yeah.
had grass on the end of my crankbait and I slammed it off the water and broke the bill off of it. Didn't
Oh my
realize it,
gosh.
threw it out, and I'm like, just walking across the water. I just broke the bill off. It's like unreal. It's like, well, I'm done. Because day one was not the same down there. Day one was rough and windy and
Yeah, I had
cold.
a lot of trouble with the wind.
Yes, yeah. I
Y
was like, even the bass boat guys that were on the same, like, fishing the same lake, they were all up in the canal, or they were not out in the main lake.
Day 2 was nice. I enjoyed a very nice round of golf at the local country club on day 2. I was stimulating the local economy.
Wow.
That's what happens when you drop 79 inches and the guy fishing beside you has 109 or 108 or whatever. If you get dominated by 30 inches on a spot and you actually caught a limit, you deserve to go play golf because the fishing is not going to happen.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. I thought you did good there. So
I you know there was a lot of potential. That was one of the only times a lot of guys know that I fail practice a lot. I lose practice. I don't win practice very often in our houses that we stay in. Um, that was one of the few times that I straight up won practice. I mean, my best five from practice were probably over um probably 101, 102 inches, 103 inches probably for my best five in practice. I mean, I everywhere I went, I caught them and wasn't even trying to, and just caught them. And that's part of it when you travel around. So sometimes you catch them in practice, sometimes you catch them in the event. I much prefer a bad practice because I feel like I've eliminated a lot of water. But um, what so are you a finesse fisherman, power fisherman? What's your confidence? Lock it in the hand to go practice somewhere new bait.
it, I always try chatterbait. I'm probably one of the only kayak fishermen could go the rest of my life without a chatterbait. I don't need
Really?
I don't need one. I have 200 other options before I tie that thing on and just get mad because I can't, except the Potomac. For some reason, I can go down there and absolutely catch them.
Is that the go to bite on the Potomac? Is a bladed jig?
I I guess. I mean,
I need to make a trip to the Potomac. I've never fished tidal water, and you got my interest peaked. Somebody else mentioned the other day I needed to make a trip to the Potomac. I don't remember who that was, but we got
MAKBF, MAKBF, and there's I don't know if they'll do it next year, but they did a thing this year where there was like three different tournaments, and I didn't sign up for it because like I thought you're on largemouth fishery. I just thought like people would be catching giants, and I was only catching like 89, 90 inches. But now that's how big the fish are, but they're 17 and a quarter and 3.5 pounds. Like they're just barrels.
yeah.
Like short. My buddy's like shown my buddy, he's the one that talked me into. That's the whole reason why I fished MAKBF this year because I signed up for it for the year and then went and we had two. It was a 2-day tournament, but they were both individual days. And we went down there and I caught them pretty good both days. And I was like, well, I guess I'm fishing this for the year. But
What's the best time to fish the Potomac if you had to
I think we were
choose?
there in April.
April, is that prime time for the
Oh
Potomac?
yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure it was April. It was whenever it was. It might have been May actually. Yeah, I would say it was probably May because
Is
it was
that big? Is
it was
that
warm.
like large numbers, quantities of fish as well, or you just as you know you hear different things about tidal fisheries. Sometimes they're tough. Is it just your quality's a lot better that time of year, or you get some quantity too that time?
Well, they're eating. I mean, but April anywhere in the country is probably fire. Like I
Yeah.
know I don't want to leave home when it's April, but
I don't think if I lived on the Susky, I don't think I would ever leave actually at all. Just period. End of story. Nobody would know who I am. I would just be gone at that point. I just gone.
the crazy part is I never like until I kayak fish, like it never I didn't have the appreciation of our river the way I do now. Like I go to these lake or like the new I caught a lot of fish. Now the size is not there. The new is the Susky. Just like they made a couple really long ones, and then
Yeah,
the rest of them are they don't even score.
yeah, yeah. I caught
And a
quite a few
15 and a half here and there.
non-scorables. Yeah, I don't. I think that is a disservice. That is an insult to the Susquehanna to call the new river to even mention those two in the same conversation.
Well, no, it is like there's a lot of fish in both. Just the river's a
I
lot
think
smaller, and the
I
fish
think
never
your
really.
odds of catching a 23 might be better at the New River for whatever reason. There are some absolute freak long. It might weigh 3 pounds and be 22 or 23 inches long on the new, but there are more elongated fish there.
Oh yeah, or it could be 23 inches and seven. What did he say? I I think Mark Edwards told me yesterday 23 and 3/4 and 7/10.
Yeah,
Like
they live there. I
yeah,
mean, there are some absolute freaks. I don't know. My theory. I've never talked to those guys. I've never been on the new until we had that event there, but my theory is the fish that survive those floods in whatever 2019, 2017, whatever those years those floods were that were so devastating to that area. I think whatever fish survived that were decent size have basically had free reign to grow as much as they want and eat as much as they want for the last few years, and they just became freaks quickly. But the
Yeah, I
problem
was
is
so
when we have events there, there's no 16 to 19-inch fish. That they just basically don't exist.
I didn't catch. I guess I did catch a couple because I had like eight. I had pretty much 80 inches on day one, and so I must have found a 16 because I definitely didn't find anything big there. That's what I wanted. The biggest thing I found, and I like contemplated it twice, but I saw a largemouth there that was over 7 pounds
On the new.
on the new, 100%. Like I don't care what anybody says. The way I
What you
see
smoking up there, Jordan Jr.?
nothing, just I'm maybe it was the water flowing north or something that had me all messed up, but
That was a green smallmouth. What that was.
no, I came around the corner and like I seen it and I was like, should I cast at that? I was like, no, because that was actually my best day of practice because I caught like 86 inches or 87 inches. And I'm like, it's just like fishing a creek, though. That's how I
Yeah.
fish it just like I fish a creek here. Because
So
we have creeks that probably actually I know for a fact I could definitely break 90 inches a
I've
lot
heard
easier.
some crazy stories of creeks up in Pennsylvania during right before or right after that spawn where you can't fish for them. I've heard of guys going up there and catching like 106 inches just waiting and fishing.
Yeah, you don't even have to do it in a creek. You can go to one eddy and do that. Like rate April 15th. That's the day.
All right, I'm
The
coming up there April
Okay,
15th.
this year was the craziest April 15th in the world because there was no big fish and I'm like where could they possibly go? Like why wouldn't they be here? They were just here and we started going up in the slack water. They're on beds April 15th. I'm like this is way ahead of schedule. And
What's normal bedding time at the
I would
mighty
say
mighty Susquehanna?
mid May, mid like
So they were a
or
full month ahead of schedule, full moon cycle.
yes, yeah, like way early.
Hmm. I've always wanted to go up there. I've heard stories. We got a friend of ours, Don Hanson, that is from up that way and lives down here now. Fantastic angler. Um, he goes up there every year and wades the creeks and stuff. I don't even think he fishes the main river. He just goes and wades creeks right around the cutoff or when it opens or whatever it is, and just wades. And he's like, man, if we don't catch 520s in a day, I'm a little disappointed. And I'm like, what in the world? Just casual as can be about it too.
Oh, it's during like pretty much right at the cutoff or a little bit after all the weekend tournaments on Tourney X are it's like kayak tournament, but you're in a boat. Everybody you're fishing against everybody on the same river. Like all of the local guys, even bank guys sign up for it because you can do it. Like you said, just you don't need a boat to whack them. It does help though in some situations.
I bet I'm gonna have to try to work that into the schedule because normally we come up there July 4th weekend and spend a weekend up there July 4th. We got a long weekend from work and drive up there and stay. I might have to accelerate my revisit to the Susquehanna and maybe schedule it in April and try to get some freak donkeys.
Dude, and like you just go throw an A rig, go throw whatever you want to throw. That's all I throw then. That or jerk bait. But right now it's pretty much the same thing. Like A rig not as much, but jerk bait you can crush them around a jerk bait right now too. I did.
I threw the jerkbait some Sunday morning. I thought with a little bit cooler water, that would be a play, and I never had a bite on it. That was I think one of the only things I threw all weekend that I did not have a bite on.
Nope, that was a chatterbait for me. It was too, because I even tied it on. And at dinner yesterday, Josh, I said to him, I was like, what'd you catch him on today? He's like, chatterbait. He's like, what color? I'm like, no freaking way. Of course, that's the same exact one I was throwing, but I didn't have near the trailer he did, but
Yeah.
still, as dirty as the water was, if they seen it or felt it, they probably would have ate it, but I just suck with it. Or I just don't have enough confidence to catch them.
You ain't got the magic chatter jig mojo, do you?
No, absolutely not. Now, like blades or something like that, that's a different story. Or
Is,
fluke. Fluke.
is that
I,
your favorite way to catch them on the Susquehanna?
oh,
Fluke or
fluke or blades. I love spinner baits. That one that I was throwing, I can't remember the name. I almost messaged them and asked them what the name of the spinner bait I was throwing this weekend was, because it, like, I threw a bunch of War Eagle ones, and then eventually, like, and it was just a chartreuse and white spinner bait, but I put theirs on, and theirs had different blades on it, actually painted blades. I put that on, and it was like bang, bang, bang. I'm like, the
I'm a
blade color.
big I'm real particular about my blades on my spinnerbait. That's one thing that I think makes a spinnerbait is the funkiness or differences in blades. I'm a big blade guy.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm not big on Colorado blades, like, or the finesse type spinner baits.
Yeah.
I want nothing to do with them.
So you think when you think of Colorado blades, you think finesse. I think power fishing when I think Colorado blades. Like a
They're,
big meaty looks like a tablespoon that somebody done cut off and then put a hole in it and attached it to a swivel.
but that's just slow rolling it. That's what I always do. No, I think I'm talking about willow blades. Are they the little circle ones?
Well, so we got willow blades, the long, skinny, narrow ones, right? Colorado blades are the big round ones that have all the thump, and then there's like the Indiana blades, which are like the kind of crossover
Yeah,
between the two.
yeah. Colorado blades are the ones I do not like. I do not like them.
That's a big fish blade. That's what we throw for the big fish. You get the dirty water down south. You get you like a coleslaw colored spinner bait with the funky white and the red and the chartreuse and the
Mm.
orange and the green. Take your pick on the funkiness of the coleslaw. Everybody has their coleslaw color. And put you a little orange or red kicker blade on the front and a big gold hammered Colorado blade on the back, and you just out there whop, 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 bringing that thing through the air. You want that thing to sound like a helicopter underwater. You want those fish to go, oh my goodness. You know when you're standing outside and you look up in the air and see a helicopter, a big Comanche beside like an air
Yeah.
base or something, you hear that thing a mile away. You want that thing to be coming through the water like that, where those fish are going, oh my goodness, what is that? They got to come out and check it out regardless. They just like us. They see something in the air above them, in the water above them. They're going to come out and look at it. Some of them are just dumb and curious. They want to figure out what it is. It's just like us. We see a helicopter. We're going to walk outside and look at it.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. It's just confidence thing. It's just like a chatterbait. If I tie something on and two cast in, I'm like, why am I throwing this? That just I have a lot of baits that people on the same boat as me or whatever are rate same boat or same float, and I can't catch them on some of the stuff. But a
Are you a big go with your gut guy? You go with your
oh,
gut?
I have to like I
Yeah,
that my success at the end of this year has nothing to do with anything else other than not second guessing myself.
yeah,
I just at the new I made a decision that I didn't know if because at the new when you go down there's no I want to go another section back up again. Like that's not the Susky where you can get away with that stuff.
yeah.
Like you're done. You're done. You're not going back up unless you're Jody Queen. I'm not Jody Queen.
Jody Queen is twice our age and outfishes us and outmaneuvers us on the river. I
Yes.
don't know how he does it. That man deserves his
I
own
got to
shout out.
witness the beating he put on him. So it was good.
Jody's a hammer, man.
Yeah, I didn't appreciate having fish behind him. I did
I
not.
I think
That's
I fished
one
behind
for
Ike and Ellie for about an hour. I was working my way across this flat around some islands, and I quit. I had like 40 bites on Sunday, and was like, I went about an hour without a bite, and I'm like, what is happening? I was like, there should be fish here, and I kind of creeped around the corner and got around this island and saw Iaconelli with his three screens, and he was working his way to the next island away from me, and I'm like, man, I think I just fished behind Mike Iaconelli for the last hour. No one, man was like a Hoover vacuum sucking up bites, man. I couldn't find anything. He didn't leave no crumbs, nothing.
yeah, that's how I felt too because the last hour on day 2, I didn't have I like I said, I had the clean side of the river. The cleaner side of the river. I could not get bit. It was the plague 20 feet off the bank all the way over. Like I had 20 feet of the bank to catch fish off of, and that's what I did all day. Just wade fished on day 2, and then I
Really.
stuck I was in the water. If you look at my pictures, I don't know what time I got in the water, but I think it was 7:45. It was cold.
I bet. I had my fancy pants on. I had some pants with the little waiter booties in it. I was nice and comfortable all day. I planned ahead properly. I put the boots away, put my water shoes on, put my fancy pants in there, and I was nice and dry all day. And my Gill rain suit kept me dry on day one. I was dry all weekend. It was nice. I enjoyed the cool weather.
I wasn't dry. I don't think I was dry at all. Um,
Do you
I
think you
don't.
made you made like a Marshall midday move on day one, right? You think that was the big thing was changing up big time? Because like day two, I went from throwing like a clear top water and them smacking at it to throwing like a real dark, colored top water in a bigger size, and they ate it. I didn't get as many bites, but when they ate it, I got a hold of them because they wanted to eat it and not smack at it. Were you making big adjustments or were you doing small differences?
I My midday move was load up and spend 45 minutes moving. I knew that's one nice thing being local. There's benefits. Like I had all my options pretty much weighed out. Like I timed myself. Well, I didn't actually like time myself, but I just knew what time I started and came back in. So I knew how long I was spending, and if it was working, I wasn't going to do anything. But if it wasn't going to work, I wanted to have a plan B and a plan C. But my plan C ended up winning the tournament. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah, it's
sucked.
you never know. Sometimes, it's big adjustments. Sometimes it sounds like from a lot of guys, this weekend at Susky, it was the little things that made, the biggest differences. It's the little things went a long way for guys to cash checks and do well. That hadn't typically done well there before. So Um, you know, every fishery is different, but it seemed like that was the biggest difference this weekend.
Yeah. I I didn't even notice anything different going into Saturday. Nothing. Like I I sat or Friday I crushed them. I crushed them to the point I felt bad because I knew it had like I went to an area that I can go there in well I probably went there 7 or 8 times, just no pre-fishing, just go there and launch and fish a tournament, and I go 80 inches, 85 inches. I go there Friday, and I was like, my smallest fish was like 19 and a half. I'm like, whoa.
Oh my gosh.
Now, never once did I go, maybe I should come here and fish because I've been burnt there before. I know where my confidence would have been. I would have been loading up my truck and driving an hour and a half
Yeah.
instead of 45 minutes.
Plan A's and plan A's and plan B's need to be close together. The closer the better for midday moves, right?
Yeah, yeah. There's no when you move, there's no going anywhere else. So it's nice when they are close enough that if you do screw up, maybe you can cover more water and salvage it like I did on Sunday. Because Sunday the fish were nowhere near where they were.
Yeah.
I went to where I caught them in the native tournament on Sunday, and I think I caught the same fish.
You got a honey hole, you got them named?
I I don't know because it's not really the same. It's not the same hole. Like it's the same area for sure, but it's not like I sat in the same spot or anything like that. But to catch that size of a fish, that length, I was on the bank when I measured this one. I was in my kayak. Both times I was shaking like a leaf, as you can see in the video. Um,
I saw that on your Facebook Live. My man did not even post the fish. I was looking through Tourney X and was like some ain't matching up here. I motored halfway through the day. Like I spent a lot of time at my first spot where I'd caught 90 inches the day before, and I lost a bunch of fish on day two. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna motor towards the end of this, and I motored for 7 miles straight and didn't do anything but basically play on my phone and make sure I wasn't smashing a rock. And I'm scrolling through, and my man Jordan here is going. It was a 20 and a half caught on day one. I got a 21 and 3/4 on day two. Big bass. Let's go. And the whole time the screen's sitting there looking like this right there. So I can't even shake my camera from there we go. I can do that. That's what it looked like. It was
nah,
just
it's more
shaking.
like this, man. I don't know what you're talking about. It
But
was
it's those videos like that those at some point where those get posted online again and brought back up, or whether you're just looking through your camera one day, those videos mean the absolute world. I've got a video from TOC at Eufaula where I caught a fish and was like, this is the biggest fish I'd caught and the whole time practice or the event ever, anything. And I caught it with like less than a minute to go, and it won me AOY. And I just remember like shaking and freaking out. Was like, let's go,
oh, and that's why I did it too because I was holding. I had all but that fish whenever I posted that video.
You
And
sandbagged them.
oh yeah, but I really really had to because there was water sharing that it could have hurt. It really could have hurt.
Oh yeah, I know what
And
you mean.
so I just held I kept fish, but little did I know he comes up to me and he's like, "You gonna post your other fish yet?" I'm like, I didn't. I was like, I don't know what you mean. But now all my buddies were texting me, quit sandbagging, blah 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 blah. But I also did it for all my bass boat buddies watching me, and I know they were just like, "Oh, he's blowing it on day two." Blah blah blah. Like there was a lot behind it because I don't like I don't like sandbagging really, but also I don't like knowing where I'm at because I don't sit there and like, okay, I have an 18 and a half plus 18 and three quarter. And most of the time, if I do the math in my head, I'm normally like 3 inches short. So it makes me fish even harder. Because if it's more than like 8 plus 6, I'm done.
Do you have anywhere that you have like a bucket list of fisheries you want to go to? I know you're a big moving water guy. You got any moving water that you want to fish, or any big lakes that you haven't been to that you want to?
I I want to be free the first weekend Bass opens on the St. Lawrence. I've never been free. I'm asked to go. The guy that I make tubes with asks me to go every single year, and I'm always fishing a tournament. So I want to, one time, I'm going to plan like, okay, this year I'm not, like, this is what I'm doing this weekend.
I think I was like a week late up there this year. When does it open? Isn't it like June, like mid June?
Yeah.
I think
You
we
were a
were a
month.
week late, a month late.
Well, no, we were,
I went the week before Cayuga, and Cayuga was the 24th, so we were up at St. Lawrence like the 22nd, 21st, something like that. I think
yeah,
we were a week late. I think it opened the 15th,
yes.
and it was pretty special being a week late after they had already been beat to death. Um, and that's just you say beat to death. I mean, it's not like the Tennessee River where those fish have been caught a bunch. I don't think any of those fish have been caught. I think that we just kind of got the late spawners of what was, straggling up left. But I mean, the amount of fish I saw up there and just the water's crystal clear. It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been.
Oh, I want to go. I've never been out in the lake. I want to go like out in the lake and do that because I've actually never been on like any main lake. Like I know Abby put you on that really good trip at Erie that same time you went to St. Lawrence, but
Yeah, Abby, Erie was. I had about 6 people try to help me out at Erie, and I'm fairly certain I got sent on a goose chase at 2 ramps a day for 3 days at Erie, and dude, I ain't kidding you. I mean, I caught a few good fish, but it was like everywhere we went, it was like I got sent to a drum hole. Like, as soon as I dropped, every time, it was like I got specific pins, like, "Hey, go here, throw this bait, perfect time. The wind's got to be this direction, yada yada, whatever. Wind dictates everything up there, and it's like, okay,
it
the wind
does.
is from the correct direction. This, that. I go there, drop down, and I'm catching drum 50-50 with smallmouth. I caught some good smallmouth. I didn't catch any freaks, right? I can catch smallmouth down here. I went up there to catch freaks, but I had a blast. It's different fishing for me. Uh, you know, anything on, Erie or St. Lawrence, that's completely different than what we do down here. The water's super, super clear. It's beautiful. It's incredible. It's just a completely different style of fishing that, obviously is somebody that, is trying to do this, with the level that we're trying to, everything that we can do, practice on our way here, whatever, just to get more experience is just a bonus. But Yeah, I would love to go up there the first week and not the second week because I think it would make a big difference. Everybody we talked to said it was just insane the week beforehand.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to go up there at some point, but to go to have the most fun like I did this year, Cayuga. If that doesn't
Cayuga
sell
was
out,
fun.
if that doesn't, whoever goes there, if that doesn't sell out, I'll be amazed because that is going to be an absolute bloodbath.
Cayuga, yeah. If any trail that goes to Cayuga, I will go to Cayuga.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
is
Oh, I love
there's
it. That's home water for me too. That's 2 hours.
yeah, anywhere there's a few places that I'm gonna fish regardless what it is. It's like the Holston or French Broad here at the house because that's home for me. Anything on Caddo, I'm gonna go try to fish because that is a cheat code of a fishery for largemouth. Um, Cayuga, which is a cheat code of just
Bass.
yeah, bass in general. There's brown fish, there's green fish, whatever, and then Susky. That's your pure brown fish cheat code. That's you. There's your three most incredible fisheries I've ever been to, and then my home fishery. So that's the four I'm not skipping, and then honorable mention Gunnersville because um, Gunnersville's been super good to me this year. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I've never been fishing anywhere near you. Nowhere. I guess I'm about to be though.
What you mean?
Like Tennessee or anything
Oh
along
yeah, yeah.
those
You
lines.
qualified for TOC, which is Lake Chickamauga for the Hobie. That's the
Yes.
Hobie Championship. That's in about a month. So we're counting down. You got your place to stay at the TOC. You squared
Yep.
away yet?
Yep. I'm good.
Good deal. We got a pretty cool house. Our boy pro neighbor Daniel Lyons has got us. He's got a rental house down there, so we're actually staying in his rental house of Daniel that normally travels and fishes with us. So that should be a lot of fun. You got any guys that you've ever just wanted to stay with that you feel like would be good road dog companions?
Anybody but Lambert. That's all. Like
Anybody but Lambert. Is that is he too wide open for Mr. Westerman?
it. It would probably end with like a headache trying to get up in the morning to get
I called you
fishing. Or
Westerman. I apologize.
no,
I
I
don't know why I
was just
called you
letting
West.
it slide. I was
Yeah,
giving it a
I as soon as
compliment.
I said that, I was like, "What in the world?" Yeah, my apologies, sir. There's too many Jordans running around here. We all need better nicknames. I got the road dog. Y'all need to square away some nicknames so we can nickname
Okay,
everybody.
I'll have to get that
We'll
taken
work
care of.
on that. Well, what all events you got left? You mentioned TOC. Y'all have are you fishing the Pennsylvania State Championship this weekend?
I'm not. So I'd love to, but there's what am I fishing for now? Other than just to fish for the money, I'm already qualified and I don't know how that works. So I just opted my spot. Like I'm not fishing it now.
So you said since you'd already qualified for the classic, you're not going to fish it.
I
I
would.
told them if they gave me an honorary complimentary roll down spot, I would drive up there this weekend and fish it again. And I'm already qualified for the classic. I'd fish it for the money without a doubt. I'd drive up there and fish it for fun. The money's just a bonus.
Yeah, this I'm jealous. Like I would be fishing it, but there's a tournament on some I don't even know how to pronounce it for MAKBF, and with leading AOY, I should probably go to that
Yeah, that makes sense. I can get down with
instead.
that.
Even though I don't want to, because
You
I
can
could
get you one of
stay
these right
home. I
here.
think I know how to catch them right now on the Susky. I think I do. but you never know because today could be a completely different world.
That's what you need. That's what you're shooting for right there. Big AOY trophy.
Yeah.
Have you got any AOYs under your belt? Any bass boat AOYs? Any MAKBS in
No.
past years?
No, I never really stuck with a series though. Like I pretty much just jumped around, fished what I could fish, and did that. And then this year I stuck with MAKBF and uh, Hobie. I was gonna do bass and try going for AOY with that too, but there's not enough time in a week. Like there's not enough Saturdays.
Yeah, you don't want to fish. You don't want to shoot for 50 tournaments in a year.
How many do you are you doing one Saturday and one Sunday to hit 50?
No, I'm talking about like different events. Like if I
No,
show up somewhere and double dip, that counts as two. But if there's a tournament that's like this past weekend is Saturday Sunday, that's one tournament. I'm shooting for 50 this year, and I think I'm gonna get it again. This would be the second time I think in 3 years I've got it.
I'm willing to bet I'm up there.
You think so? 50 in a
Oh,
year?
I mean, I truly don't think I've had 4 weekends that I haven't fished a tournament since Santee Cooper.
You road dogging hard. I didn't realize you road dog like that. Is that counting boat tournaments too? I assume.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
most well Saturday I'll fish whatever Pocomoke or something river. I don't even know what it's called. Uh, I'm gonna fish
is it
that, and then
Pocono? Is that like the raceway up there?
no,
Pocono
no,
Raceway, Pocono
it's like
River.
Delaware Paddle Sports. It's near there. I
I
don't
got
even
you.
I don't know nothing. I'm just gonna put it in the GPS and go look at the water.
Now we're talking. That
So,
is right up my alley. I can get down with that.
um, now you completely made me forget what I'm saying.
50 events. You gonna fish 50? Normally, I
Oh,
gotta fish some
oh,
Thursday nighters to get 50, but I've had a bunch of events where we'll fish like 3 weekends where there'll be like South Carolina Bass or Georgia Bass Nation, QCKBF, and the Bassmaster all the same weekend. So I'll triple up in one weekend.
well, so I got 8 with just. I bet you I'm close. If I could, if I go through my camera roll, I bet you I could figure out how many I did.
Go,
But
I'd be curious. You'll have to let me know. Go after we get off here. Go through your camera roll. I'm
nah, I
curious
don't
to
have.
see.
Not today. Not today.
Not today. He's wore out. You can
That's
do it
some
later on in the week.
serious.
I'll remind you and give you a hard time.
No, because now you really make me think. Well, because 50 sounds like a lot, but when you put it with, like, when you're counting, when I fished, well, all this came from one tournament. One fish, actually, is what
That's a
that
lot of
came from.
hardware for one fish. Is that the oh yeah, I got you. That was the big fish, the native event.
It was, I'm pretty sure it was the same one from yesterday.
You think that was the same fish?
I do.
I'm real curious about your camera roll now.
Uh, um,
I'm gonna look for cage marks on that fish. You got him
he,
caged up there.
I made sure he wasn't allergic to metal. Don't worry. No, I truly see the only reason I don't think it I think it is, but I don't think it is. When I seen that fish in the native, I knew that it was an absolute freak. When I seen that fish come up, like when it was actually on my bait yesterday, I thought it was just like a 20. Like
Yeah,
it didn't
just
look
just a
like it
20,
was.
just a 20.
Well, I do live here, so it's a 20 is especially this time of year.
Can of corn.
April monthly this year I had 105 and a half.
Oh my god.
That's
Whew.
all Susky too. I went to Presque Isle. I went to the Potomac and did not call a single fish. Actually, Santee. Nope, Santee wasn't in April, was it?
Yeah, it was, but it was in another state.
But that I know, but it was for a monthly.
Oh, I got you. Yeah,
Like
yeah,
just I don't do the monthly tournaments out of my boat. I don't I don't
yeah.
sign up for the kayak ones
I got you.
unless it's like just a benefit.
I got you. Well, we're probably a little over an hour if I was betting. I can't see my time clock, so we might have run a little long, but
We are.
um, we are. Well, get you some. You got any sponsors to thank? You got any people you want to thank, and we'll roll us out of here after that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say sponsors. I definitely have people to help me out. Steve at Southside Bait and Tackle. I heard. Well, I ran into. That's like my when I'm going fishing. Stop there, get some talk for him for a couple minutes, maybe turn into 2.5 hours, 3 hours sometimes. Just rant, talking about whatever, and he's just a great guy, and he helps me out after hours whenever I want. Melting Point Lures, Jason and Janelle make great stuff to fish with on the Susky. You can get everything they make and Sneaky Hollow Baits makes, and they sell everything at Southside Bait and Tackle. So, but if me and Casey could get to work and quit fishing, there'd be some more tubes on the shelves in there, but we're down on inventory right now for some reason.
Y'all been dominating. You out of inventory.
I haven't even talked to him either, so I don't know how he's been doing. It's to the point where the last three times, actually for the native, I bought my own tubes that I made because I'd rather do that than have to go cut the tails. So I'm like, yep, I'm cool with just buying a 10 pack, which whatever. But other than that, just friends and family and everyone always supporting me. And then I don't really know anyone else that I'd like to thank at this point in time.
I got you. Well, we'll you keep dominating. You'll have the sponsors rolling in no time. You making TOCs, leading regional AOYs, and probably gonna seal that up. And you're giving it a run for its money. I'm sure if you keep after, you'll get you a sweet list of sponsors that you can be excited with, and hopefully some people buy some of your tubes. You can make some more money on the side.
Yeah, maybe we'll see.
I got you. Well, I appreciate you coming on here, and I'm sure I will see you at Chick for the TOC, and we'll have to get together at some point down there and see if we can eat some dinner together and hang out.
All righty, man. I appreciate you having me on here.
Yes,
I'll
sir.
see you down
Thank
at
you.
Chick.
Yeah.
See ya.
All righty. Super awesome guest tonight. Um, Jordan's a cool dude that I've known the last couple years that we've met. Traveling around. Unbelievable fisherman on the Susky, and he proved it this weekend at the Bass Nation event. It's always tough to fish your home water, and to have an incredible fishery like that so close to home. I don't think I'd be the road dog if I lived that close to the Susquehanna. I'd be the Susquehanna dog or something. So, um, you know, thanks to Jordan for coming on here, and we got a couple more pretty awesome guests that we can get squared away. I apologize for the delay between events, but like I said, I've been road dog, and we had an event in Texas, and then had a different Tennessee state championship last week, and then Pennsylvania event at Susky this past weekend. So hopefully get more and more consistent with these and more often. And as always, we will try to improve. As always, next time. Thank you. Road Dog is out.